welcome everybody to the Spot'em Podcast, Episode 2. It is July 21st, 2023, and we got a pretty star-studded panel today. We got a couple of really cool people here tonight with us. We got Eclipse, Sugar, Supa, and Bunny. And so if everyone wants to introduce yourselves, I guess we'll go with the order that's on my screen. So let's start with Eclipse. If you want to just do a quick little hello and let everyone know what you're about, and throw out your socials and stream your channel and everything.
Hi, I'm Eclipse. That's the thing. That's not my real name, and I'll say that for a reason because people tend to ask me if it is or not. I am a part-time Twitch streamer, YouTuber, and so getting started on Kick. I am also a digital artist as well as a gamer. You can pretty much find me on YouTube and Twitch under Dark Eclipse. My Twitter is the exact same. My Instagram is Dark Eclipse Artworks. So yeah.
Awesome. All right, Sugar, you're up next.
Hey everyone. Everyone can just call me Sugar, but my Twitch is Sugar Doesn't Smile. That's what I am on Twitch and Twitter. Those are the two main things that I use. Mainly, I'm a new streamer, but I mainly stream GTA RP, which I love to death. I also play a lot of like FPS games, and I really love survival games, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys soon in a stream.
Nice. All right, Supa, you're up, buddy.
I'm Supa Squez Plays. You can call me Supa, Squez, or Chris is fine, it doesn't matter. I'm a Mega Man speedrunner. I sprinkle a little variety on my Twitch channel. I stream Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays on Twitch only. You can find me with the same name at Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all of the major socials, Twitter. I'm just happy to be here. Happy to be a part of this podcast.
Awesome. And last but not least, we got Bunny. Stage is yours.
I'm Bunny. I actually was a streamer back in 2018 until 2020, where I had to drop off because I was trying to focus on my degree, which is game technology. I just started up learning the digital artworks of Fantasy landscapes, but I am a Final Fantasy 14 streamer as well. You can find me as Simply Sweet Gaming, but my full brand name is actually Simply Sweet Hub because that will be my business name. And I have a blog that will be launched later this year for work-life balance and the Twitch streamer workshop.
All right. Awesome. All right. We got a lot of good talent here tonight. I'm very happy about that. I appreciate everybody for coming along and hopping on the panel tonight, especially some of you on short notice, so I do appreciate that. And so this is our second podcast episode. And since our last episode, the Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal finally closed. The FTC's lawsuit against Microsoft seemed to be unsuccessful. The antitrust lawsuit. So how's everyone feeling about Microsoft now basically owning all of the gaming development and game devs and studios out there? Like, how does everyone feel about that? Do you think that that's going to be a good thing for gaming, or? I'm open to anyone's opinion on that.
I kind of feel like if we dig hard enough, there was probably a meme about this years ago happening.
Yeah,
foreshadowing. It's all gonna come to this. I hate having like multiple launchers that I have to download and like
same
make sure I don't have to did I buy it on here, but I might have bought it on there, but I have a copy here, like that sort of thing. So I think when it comes to consolidation of maybe having all of the games that we love in centrally in one place. Of course, there's like, indie games and things like that that'll launch on their own stuff. I think it'll be cool that way, but I just kind of feel like this is something that we've all kind of knew was coming.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way too. And like you said, like it is kind of like a meme because Microsoft, going back all the way back to the 90s, has always been like considered like a monopoly. And they always and like even in the 90s, like didn't I believe the government like tried to split up Microsoft back in the 90s too. And I feel like I think we've gone full circle where Microsoft is now becoming a monopoly, maybe not so much in the PC space, but in the actual gaming space, and between everything between Game Pass and every Microsoft game between PC and Xbox is just going to be. They're going to be able to have such wide reach, and and then having all those studios, especially having all these IPs now between Call of Duty, Diablo, Starfield, Overwatch. I mean, yeah, it's kind of crazy how much control they're going to have over the market itself. So.
I mean, there's two ways you could go about it, right? I wonder how the other companies like Steam and Sony are gonna react to this, like how they're gonna approach it. Like, but it also, I think it has to do a lot with like economy and the way that like the gaming market is. Maybe it's like more hurt than like we initially thought. Like we think that when we play video games, like we don't think about like how the actual world's troubles come into play. But with Microsoft like pretty much acquiring all these developers and assets and stuff, maybe those guys that are like AAA, like Activision, and I can't think of anything else, maybe Bethesda and stuff like that, like maybe they're not as prominent in like monetary sense than we initially think. Like I think Microsoft's acquisition is like trying to tell all the other markets that like we're keeping them afloat, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
we have the assets.
I kind of agree with that, because AAA titles before this acquisition, and we don't really know what's going to happen post acquisition in terms of how good like AAA titles will be and what they'll look like, but like Bethesda. I mean, first of all, Bethesda has its own memes going on, especially with like Fallout. But Fallout 76, like a lot of their quote unquote AAA IPs that they've been releasing have been really, really subpar. So maybe who knows that maybe these developers, that they were just too bloated, or they were just mismanaged. Who knows what the actual internal strife was that was causing these games to be released in such poor shape, but. Perhaps now with Microsoft at the helm, maybe we'll see higher quality AAA releases. I don't know. It's definitely, it remains to be seen. How about Bunny or Eclipse? You have any opinions on this?
I'll go Clips. So my thoughts are actually into the mobile gaming section of the deal, where they're actually going to be acquiring the Candy Crush. Yeah. Because they're going to be acquiring Candy Crush Saga and the publisher King. And it's really interesting because in 2022, Candy Crush Saga, the whole brand, got about $2.79 billion in USD.
Jeez.
Just in 2022. And then the projection for mobile gaming is to go up by 14.3% in 2027. Yeah, 2027. And that's really interesting because also Microsoft is already hiring devs. I can speak English, I promise. Microsoft is actually planning and currently hiring people to create their own app store. Because I actually got a job offer from them to actually help create that app store. I declined the offer though because it's in-person jobs, and I don't want to.
Right.
So I don't know like how that's gonna go in the future. So I don't really know how that's going to go in the future with them planning on creating their own app store, and with the acquisition of getting all the Candy Crush Saga, what applications or different types of mobile gaming apps they may create from that.
I feel like that whole aspect of the deal was not talked about at all. Like I keep forgetting how huge the mobile gaming market is, because I detest the mobile gaming market because it's a lot of gacha mechanics and stuff, but and I'm an old school gamer, but that is so true that like the whole mobile gaming side of it is such a money maker. And that market's just completely like predicted to like increase exponentially. So that's actually a very, very interesting side of it too. I didn't really think about that at all.
Oh my god, I just imagined Overwatch Mobile. I'm scared.
I actually play Call of Duty Mobile, and it isn't that bad. It's a little overwhelming at first, but it isn't that bad.
There's a dude that I watch. His name is Eddie, and I watch him on Twitch. He plays Fortnite Mobile, and he is a goat. He's unbelievable in Fortnite Mobile. He goes toe to toe with people playing on PC because it's cross-platform. Which I can't believe there's people playing mobile like that with people that are like playing on console and PC. But
I know.
he is a goat. He's so good at just like playing the game on, and I think he plays like on a Samsung Galaxy 9 or I think now he uses a different phone, but he was using like a crazy phone. I mean, it's just crazy how people can play some of those mobile games. But yeah, I mean,
does he use a controller with his phone?
Yeah, use a backbone or something.
I think he might, but like you still see like the overlay of the controls on the screen because it's all still set up for touchscreen. So even though I think he is using a controller, I'm not even 100% sure he is. But I think that with him using, I think he might be, but at the same time, I think he would, because I do see like the overlay, and I think I do see him pressing buttons. I'm not sure if those buttons are like mapped to the controller or not, and like they just show like they're highlighted as if you were doing touch input. But it's weird because like a whole good half of the screen is just the overlay for like all the inputs for the game. I mean, I couldn't imagine playing like that with that kind of input scheme.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that has a lot of inputs, like no joke.
Yeah, I mean, it has a lot of inputs on a controller or even keyboard and mouse, let alone trying to do that with the way it's set up on a mobile platform. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. I don't know, man. I just feel like phones in general. I haven't upgraded my phone since 2019, since before the pandemic. Right now I'm still running my Galaxy S10, and for me, like my Galaxy S10, I look at all the new phones out there, and like the specs on most new phones are really not much better than they were 4 years ago. Like my Galaxy S10 has the default storage, or the entry storage level was 128 gigs. Which most still, even in 2023, if you go try to get a flagship phone, you're gonna get your entry level storage is gonna be 128 gigs still, and so you're gonna pay extra if you're gonna go to anything over 128. So if you're gonna get 256, you're gonna pay like whatever $50-$100 more. And they've removed so many features. Like I know that I'm gonna sound like a boomer now, but I really do like my headphone jack, And I think the Galaxy S10 was the last flagship phone that had a headphone jack. And I do use wireless earbuds, right? But like, there are use cases where you would probably want to use a wired, even if it's for like microphone input or anything. There are use cases why you'd want to use the 3.5 millimeter jack. You may not want to use it all the time, but like for them to completely remove, and it's not even like it's like, oh well, we can't make it waterproof if it has a headphone jack, because the Galaxy S10 is like, I think what is it, IP6 or whatever that spec is for like super water resistant. Like you can literally drop this thing in water for like a good 10 seconds and it won't have any permanent damage to it. So they were able to make it waterproof before with these extra ports being open, and not only that, but the Galaxy S10 has expandable storage. So where the SIM card slot is, right? You have your SIM card slot. It just has an extra. It's a little bit longer than a regular SIM card tray, but it has a little tray area to drop an SD card. So even though I have 128 gigs on my phone, I can easily get a 512 gigabyte SD card for like $20 on Amazon when it's on sale, and pop that in. And now all my photos, all my videos now have, I don't need super fast storage for that. That's just basically there to carry over some larger files that, are everything else that needs to run on the phone, like apps and stuff like that, can run off the actual 128 gigs. But then for all these new phones to not have expandable storage, not have a headphone jack, and then on top of that, even the screen quality, like I think like some of the new, like the S20 and some of the new Galaxy, like the resolution is even less. So I'm like, what are we really getting? And even the processor, like there's no real big increases in RAM or processing power on a lot of these new phones. So I'm like, what are we really getting? And then they're trying to charge us $1,000 for these phones. So what are we really getting?
You think we've like plateaued when it comes to like
think so,
phone
too.
specs? Yeah,
I really do.
People are just kind of like at a block to where like, oh, like we're charging them the most that we can for what we can provide, because otherwise then it's just not a phone anymore. Then we're just like carrying around
and I feel like
full on PCs.
Yeah, I do agree with that, but I also think that it's like, where's the innovation? Like they're, instead of actually innovating, they're forcing us to use things like wireless headphones and stuff like that. That was another thing. So my Galaxy S10 came with AKG wired headphones. It came with the phone, right? Those are like, you try to buy them like brand new, like on eBay. They're not cheap. And that came with the phone. Now you barely even get a charger with these phones. Like you just get like a wire, USB-C wire, and it's like, what the heck, where what value am I getting? And then not only that, of course these companies are going to make more money because like, oh well, you have to get the Galaxy Buds, or you have to get the AirPods, or so, and those things are $100 a pop at least. I think even the AirPods are probably what, $150, like the base price for those. So
and that's like the previous generation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
generation.
so you're not even like it's not even innovative anymore. They're just basically trying to wall garden you into into what their products are basically forcing you to get into and buy, and that way you're stuck in their ecosystem. And even Android, which was like the anti-Apple, are doing exactly what Apple is doing, which is wall gardening you. And that's a lot of people that were Android users in the first place didn't like that. That's why they chose Android over Apple. Now we really have no alternative at all. So it's like everyone's just stuck trying to go with these, well, if I have to get AirPods or I have to get Galaxy Buds because I can't use a headphone jack. And it's really weird. It's really weird. I just feel like the whole cell phone market in general is just completely like lifeless. There's no innovation, at least in my opinion.
No, I agree with you. It's all smoke and mirrors. Like, literally, they just know how to market it to where, like,
buy it every year.
Yeah, like how our society is. We're all like image related. Like all these new phones that we get, they take like the best pictures ever. They immediately post to social media because that's the thing to do right now. Like you get a moment, bang, take a picture. Hey, share it with your friends. All that, all those. Specs and stuff, they upgrade. Like my phone has 4 fucking cameras. Like I don't need 4 cameras. Yeah. It's like, you know what I mean? Like
Galaxy S10 has 3.
I love my cat, but I mean I don't take that many pictures of him.
I love the I think even the cameras have kind of plateaued. I mean most of my camera roll is my dogs. Like it's the same thing. It's like everyone's just taking pictures of their pets, and or you're setting up your phone for TikTok and doing the NPC TikTok viral videos.
Yep, exactly. And
that's where these $1,400 phones are going towards.
Yeah,
people pretending that they're NPC.
That's why we're running out of like semiconductors and stuff just to for those viral TikTok.
I know, it's so crazy. And then they're earning like what Pinky Doll I think had a New York Times article. Pinky Doll is the one who was that I think she's the one that was the most popular in terms of like the whole NPC trend that was going on. She was like, ice cream's so good. Ice cream's so good. And
oh my God.
She said on, and I think they New York Times interviewed her, and she said she's making between $2,000 to $4,000 per TikTok stream. per day.
Golly.
Per day.
Damn. Oh my god.
I mean, that's not even like, 2,000 to 4,000 a week. That's per stream per day. So if she wants to do more than one stream per day, she probably could even bank even more money than that. So that's crazy. That's just crazy. And that whole trend, I think even like Kai Cenat on Twitch, he did like I don't think he did an hour, right? And he think he made 6K on his. He's obviously a much bigger influencer, but it just shows you like it's an infinite money glitch.
Yeah.
If you want to sit there for an hour and be an NPC, man.
Is he still number one on Twitch?
In what, subs or like concurrent viewers? I don't really know. I would have to look at Social Blade. The last time I looked on Social Blade was earlier in the week because I saw a bunch of posts about people saying like, oh, if you don't have a face cam, you're basically going to be a dead streamer and you're going to have, run into a dead end. You're never going to be able to grow your audience past a certain point. And then I pointed out like, I just know I made a post. It got actually a pretty good engagement. And I know off the top of my head 3 content creators, I should say, because some of them are kind of streamers and not really streamers. Some of them make YouTube videos, but they never ever use their face. Even Moist Critical, I believe, started without using a camera too, and he grew exponentially without a camera. But then you have like H2O Delirious, you have Dream, you have, and then when I was looking at the Social Blade for who has the most active subs right now, Iron Mouse is the number 2 most active subbed Twitch streamer, and they're a VTuber. So I really think that it comes down to how you want to artistically express yourself, not so much like, oh well, I'm on a camera doing silly things, because that's not the only recipe for success, at least in my opinion, at least from what I've seen. I mean, everything that I'm saying is anecdotal, and it's just things that I've seen based on what I've experienced and what I've content creators that I've followed. But I don't think that having a face cam makes or breaks a streamer. Especially like what you wanted to talk about before, small streamers, right? I've seen so many people start out streaming and they want to I don't really know what the thing is that happens to a lot of these people that start streaming. I don't know if it's because they think that they're going to try to get rich quick, or they think they're just going to blow up and go viral, or they just get tired. Like, I know a lot of people, like I started streaming, I want to say maybe April, May of last year, 2022. And out of all the people that I initially started with, I think I could count them on one hand, the people that still stream. I probably started out with a good 20 to 25 people that were like hardcore into the content creation and streaming scene. And only a handful left still do it. So it takes a toll on people. I think it takes a toll on some people's mental health, perhaps. But yeah, it's kind of rough.
To interject on that point, I mean, I feel it. Like, I work a 9 to 5, and I've only been streaming for 6 months, and there are times where I do feel burnt out from streaming. Like, a lot of times, like it's rough, and I don't knock anybody for taking that mental health break from streaming, because it's your health is more important. No matter what you do in front or behind a camera or playing a video game or whatever your why is, your health is the most important thing. And
hands down.
And I think that burnout is real, and I don't disrespect anybody that because I like you, like when I started streaming 6 months ago, like I have a lot of IRL friends that stream, and they've stopped, they've fallen off, and they've only streamed maybe once a month or once every other week, and I'm still going. And I think it's a testament to your why. Like, why do you stream? Like, why do you want to do it?
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that completely. Because go ahead, someone else want to say something? Definitely speak up.
Yeah, and I wanted to add on to that because a lot of the people I knew also stopped streaming. mainly because real life stuff also get in the way. It's like some of them became parents, and that easily stops you from streaming because children take a while. And then like another part of it is sometimes you have a lot of people harassing you, or you start getting stalkers who try to DDoS you. Like there's so many factors that go into it. Like I know for me that I stopped streaming. Like I stopped streaming because I actually got a stalker, and it was getting way too severe where I couldn't keep streaming, because if I streamed, then I knew they would try and track my IP address, and I just didn't want to deal with it anymore.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's
Oh my
scary.
God,
Yeah,
that's
see
so
that
awful.
that is
I know,
scary.
that's- Yikes!
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another thing, and go ahead, Super. I'll go after you.
I was just gonna say that's a small fear of mine, because like I don't know, like I'm not the target demographic for shit like that. No, sorry for the swear, but so I'm open. Like I don't like I have a VPN, and I'd have those measures in place to stop me from being like infiltrated like that. But man, I have heard stories about that, and it's awful, dude. Like it's so bad. Like people find out where others live, and it's
Yeah, and like one of the worst parts about it too, that goes into like having your camera on, is depending on how you have your camera, if you're pointed near a window where they can see outside, they can actually start tracking you. So like there's so many risks with having your camera on that it's just like, yes, it can be a benefit, but there's way too many negatives now at this point where it's just like it's not there. And also like the rise of AI, where people like, I don't know if you guys saw that Twitter post, it was a couple months ago, where people were taking streamers' faces and putting them on not safe for work AI generated images, and it's like, do you want that? Because like there's even political people now have to deal with this, that have these fake scandals that were created because of AI.
Yep, it's so true. Yeah, I've been trying to tell people about, because I actually kind of, part of my actual job is kind of being in the AI space. I've been using it for quite a while, probably since about 2018, maybe 2017, when it was really in its infancy. And when they were trying to talk about like how quantum computing is going to change the whole game and everything, but just in the last like 2 years, like around when COVID hit, and everyone was just, I think that like the way that they trained the models on that data just made things so much more worse. And then now that AI can basically create video, can create audio, can create music, it's really scary, the stuff that AI is going to be able to do. And what's his name? There's a guy who's on YouTube, and I posted his video on my Twitter, but he posted like a pretty short video, but a pretty really revealing video about like how crazy AI is going to be in the next couple of years, in terms of like how people are going to be easily fooled by fake imagery, people's faces being remapped completely. And they're already doing it with some streamers, like what Bunny's saying, and they're doing it obviously for nefarious reasons, not even like to give any kind of added benefit to anyone. And so the more your face is out there on the internet, the easier it is to train a model to remap that onto anything else. And that's why streamers, in particular streamers that are out there and use face cams, and it's actually been really bad, particularly for female streamers, where that is a huge issue for them in terms of like their mental health and their self-image and everything. And it's really, really scary. And I feel like some people don't realize how dangerous that this can wind up becoming soon. And it's something I'm trying to raise awareness of, because AI could be a really good benefit to people, but it's the internet, and like what Bunny was saying, like when it comes to stalkers and stuff, I remember seeing stuff where people were able to triangulate people's positions, but based on street lights and timings on traffic lights, and where the moon was. They could triangulate where the moon was, and like what part of the country they were in, or what part of the world they were in. I mean, these people, you cannot really put it past them. They will find a way to do some crazy stuff to track you. So, yeah, I think people's privacy, if they want to stay private, is such a. I think it's a valuable, invaluable right. Like you cannot stress enough how important that is for people if they want to keep themselves private. So. That's just my little warning on that.
Yeah, and to add a bit more about it too, if you're in the US, one of the worst parts about it too is if anybody finds out your full legal name and they have an idea of what state you live in, they can actually pull the public records to find you that way as well. So like
Yep.
we are not technically private currently, especially like way back when, Facebook started and stuff. There's so much data from there that they could easily try and triangulate from, which, by the way, if you guys were on Facebook way back in like 2012, 2013, go try to get your like paychecks for the lawsuit because they already sold your data incorrectly. So there is money you can have from there.
Yep. I actually got caught up in the Equifax lawsuit where they basically gave away my data to hackers or whatever, and I got like I think I got like a $37 check for it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. So I was able to eat good that night, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, these companies, there's no real penalty for them, mishandling our data. That's why I'm much more careful. In particular, like even for me when I'm streaming now, and that's why I created a character, and I use because I just value my privacy and my family's privacy way too much to put stuff out there that could possibly put anyone in danger, and then the onus is on me to have to try to mitigate that. So yeah, it's definitely a scary thing, and I definitely for someone like me, it's like I'm not so much afraid of all of that, because I kind of feel a little bit more confident. But at the same time, I know that like other people, like definitely that could be such a detrimental thing to people, especially like because there's no real mechanism to punish people that do crazy stuff like this, especially when it comes to stuff like swatting. Like you can easily just like buy a phone number or have someone call from another country, and there's just no repercussions for some of these really bad actors out there, and that makes it even more scary and dangerous. But there's so many reasons why people stream and then stop streaming. And that's the thing too, like we were talking about, like people that fall off or just stop streaming. I always check. Like even if they're not IRL people that I know, like I've made a lot of friends in this space, I check on them.
Yep.
Like I'll message them even like off the record and be like, hey man, or hey, hey, what's going on? Is everything all right? How's everything going? Like just try to reach out and be a friend and make sure everything's cool and everything's good. And but like Bunny was saying, like they could have had a kid, they could have been a million different reasons why they did, they had a moving situation, all types of stuff. But it's always good to reach out to some of your streamer friends, and when they're not streaming as often, or if they're not communicating, and just kind of let them know that you're there for them, and if they need to talk, or if there's anything you can do to help them out. So that's how I've kept in touch with a lot of these people. But it's like, it's crazy. I mean, streaming is so fun, and you have to have a reason why you're doing it. And I feel like for some people, like I said before, they people want to get rich quick, or they think that. Another thing I've seen a lot of is people make affiliate, or they're in such a they're in goal mode. They have that goal set that they want to hit Twitch affiliate or Kick affiliate or whatever, and then they get to the affiliate, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're gone. Like they're done. Like they hit that goal post, they reach that marker, and then like they no longer are striving to accomplish anything else, like, because hitting Twitch partner, what benefit really is there to hitting Twitch partner anymore? You're not getting a 70-30 split anymore, so what really, what is there after they hit affiliate? So I've seen a lot of people get to affiliate on Twitch and then just completely lose interest. So it's for me in particular, the reason why I'm streaming is because I play video games, and if I'm going to play video games, either I'm going to play them by myself, which is fine. That's why I have a Switch, and sometimes I do like to have a cozy stream, or not cozy, like a cozy gaming session, and just play some Stardew Valley for a couple hours and not stream it. But like other times, I want to play a game, and I want to share that experience with other people.
You're a Stardew fan? I didn't know this.
I'm a what? A Stardew fan? Yeah. That was the first.
Oh my god, I am
game
such
I've
a
ever gotten on the
crackhead
Switch.
over Stardew.
Oh yeah, Stardew is great. Stardew is so great because Stardew has that nostalgic 16-bit feel. you know, and it's just a really in-depth game. You have a lot of cool things you can do with it, between the mining, the farming, the relationship aspects. It's just a well-rounded indie game. It's like probably one of the best games ever made. You know, I'd put it probably in my top 10 best games of all time. Because of the replay value. You know, you have that replay value.
Yeah.
And if you play it on PC, there's like a bajillion mods. It's kind of like, you know, taking a life of its own, kind of like what GTA is now with the whole roleplay scene, which I want to get into GTA roleplay as well. Like, that's another thing I want to get into that. I know I have so many games I want to play, and I just so much I wish we can like make more hours in the day, and me not needing as much sleep. Yeah. I need to be able to survive on like 3 hours sleep, you know, because I want to do GTA roleplay
modded Link. So
yeah, I've seen some really cool Stardew Valley modded streams, and there was some cool stuff that I saw that people are doing. But you know, if you're not used to getting mods set up and stuff like that, then it's a little annoying, because if you got someone that doesn't really know what they're doing, you got to really kind of show them everything. But yeah, if you got people that know what they're doing, they got it all modded and ready to go, boom, like that is you're hitting the ground running. It's fun.
It kind of sounds like you're gonna show me how to do Stardew with mods, and then I'm just gonna show you how to RP in GTA.
Yeah, that's a fair trade. I think that's even.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, definitely. Stardew is definitely a really. There's nothing like, you know, you're chilling on a rainy day in your bedroom with like coffee or you know, a soda or something like that, and just playing Stardew for hours. It's like one of my favorite go-to just like cozy games. But yeah, I was seeing a lot of I was watching another friend of mine doing GTA roleplay, and he was doing like the whole police officer thing, and like I didn't realize like there's actual like dedicated servers for like people that are. I didn't even know like Rockstar allowed you to like have your own servers for that and stuff. That's kind of crazy. That was really I thought it was kind of just, I thought people were just like going on like GTA 5 online and then just like kind of like pretending. I didn't realize like people have like their own servers, their own like rules, and like it's its own like little ecosystem.
Yeah,
that
just
makes
like
it so much more interesting.
Like Red Dead Online, there's like roleplay servers.
Really, I have a friend that does Red Dead Online as well, and I don't know if he's role playing it or not, but it looks like a lot of fun too. It really does. Wait till GTA 6 comes out with the roleplay. It's going to be insane. Because I think they're saying that's going to be like the biggest map of all GTAs.
Yeah, I haven't looked at any map leaks or anything.
I saw every single leak. I saw every single leak for GTA 6 that came out. I couldn't help myself. I do think it's going to be well, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to spoil. If no one saw the leaks, I'm not going to say anything. But it does look good. I think the premise of GTA 6 is going to be really, really cool. But yeah, I do want, but then also I want to do Final Fantasy 14, and that's, you know, I'm already in Phantasy Star Online MMO, and now, you know, Final Fantasy 14, and now that it's finally on sale, I've been literally waiting since like last summer, or at least the winter. I forget exactly when I was trying to get into it, and I think it was probably around last Christmas, and then either I just missed the Square sale, and Steam had it on sale or something like that, and people like, oh, don't get it on Steam because of the incompatibilities with it's basically, well, I was looking at some subreddits, and they were all of them were basically like, do not buy it on Steam because it's just a pain in the butt. And then I'm like, okay, so I won't get it on Steam, so I'll wait for Square Enix to have it on. And then like their website is so bad that I could never figure it out. And then finally, you know, Bunny was like, oh, it's on sale. I'm like, oh, that's it. It's happening. Finally gonna get it.
What edition are you gonna get? Are you gonna get the...
I'm still debating if I'm gonna get the complete edition, because I think the complete edition, no, complete collector's edition. I think I'm gonna get the complete edition because I think that comes with all the expansions, right?
Yes, it comes with everything.
Okay. And I think the complete collector's edition just comes with like extra like cool items. I'm not really sure
Yeah,
what those
it comes-
items do or are.
It comes with like a mount that you'll be able to use, and it's like the main point that I bought the collector's editions for with the mounts. I don't know if they still come with the earring. I'll have to check that real quick. Because during pre-orders they came out with leveling earrings where it helps you it boosts your EXP every time you like kill a monster.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's actually
it's
still
less
part of it.
grinding.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, it's $70. The thing is, I also because this week I wanted to get. Well, originally my plan was I didn't really realize that Square Enix was going to have that sale, so originally this week was going to be Pikmin 4, and then I was going to also buy the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster for Switch. But I have to buy it from Play Asia because you cannot get it in the United States because Square Enix is kind of dumb when it comes to making enough product for people to get, because all the scalpers bought the American versions and then resold them on eBay or whatever other site for like triple the price. So a $70 game.
Is the Pixel Remaster on sale right now?
What do you mean, like on sale? Like, is it for sale or on sale? Because it's neither. Not in America.
Oh, okay, hold on.
Anyway.
Oh, okay. All right. I was like, well,
yeah.
I was looking forward to
basically, when they released the Pixel Remaster in the US, they released it only on their website, and because Square's website sucks, all the scalpers bought it instantly. So almost nobody I know, IRL or even like online friend wise, was able to get their hands on a copy of, like, for retail, which was like $70. I know a few people that were able to get their hands on it via like a scalper on eBay, but they I think the least that they paid was probably $150. But with the one silver lining here is that Play Asia, first of all, the major silver lining about the Switch in general is that basically all the games are region free. So as long as the game includes an English dialogue option, you could buy the game from another country, import it into the United States, and you got the game. I did that when I got the Fire Emblem Collector's Edition for Fire Emblem Engage. I couldn't get my hands on the Divine Edition, which is the US version of the Collector's Edition. I was able to go to Amazon Japan and buy the Ilios Edition, which is the Japanese equivalent of their Collector's Edition, for actually cheaper than the American versions with the yen conversion. And of course it took I think 3 weeks to get to me, but I got that edition and it has an English dialogue version, an English dialogue option, and then boom, you have the game, and it has everything's included, even the English voice acting is included. So that was really nice. But I think the Pixel Remasters is just text based. So you just go to Play Asia, you just order it there. It's $70. And of course, it's not 2-day shipping because it's got to come from Japan or wherever, Taiwan. But yeah, you get it, and it's it's the full version of the game. Actually, and from what I've heard, the box art for the international version or the Asian version of the game is actually better than what they released. Like Square Enix released a half-assed version of it in the United States and didn't even include a reversible cover or inside box art that makes it look nice with nice accents and stuff. So it's actually preferable that you buy the international version. But yeah, it's still $70, but you can get your hands on it if you use Play Asia. You just can't if you're gonna try to buy the US space version, the NTSC or whatever they whatever region they call it over here, it's almost impossible unless you want to pay a crazy scalper price for it.
Yeah.
But the Pixel Remasters are supposedly legit top tier, the way that those games are supposed to be played. But yeah, that was my original plan, was to spend the $70 on that, but I might just spend the $70 on the Final Fantasy XIV Complete Collector's Edition. It's just that, I have to make sure that I'm able to invest that much time into this another MMO, That's the other problem, is the timing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just be like me, play, 4 MMOs, because I play Final Fantasy, ESO.
Oh my gosh. It's funny.
Just have no time. Just give up sleep. You can give up sleep. Okay.
I just need you to keep giving me the time management tips so that way I can manage my time better. I felt like with the time management tips, especially like teach me about the Viva Insights, because we're using Teams at my job too.
Yeah, same.
I didn't even know about Viva Insights, and then like all of a sudden, like now I'm just like creating like a virtual commute, like my disconnect hours, like it's like set all my stuff up in my schedule and everything. It's so nice, and I'm able to like really segment out my time management so much better now, and I actually feel more productive just by being able to block out and manage my time better.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love Via Insights. My job also like lets me have time, like focus time, so I can actually like not be on call to deal with people. So it's just like, yes, I can actually complete tasks that I wouldn't be able to complete otherwise.
Yeah, it's great. I really like it a lot. But the time management tips this week have been pretty valuable because I was able to like get certain things done. I'm working with my artist right now to try to get my cicada guy to he's going to be in a cyberpunk form, and he's going to be for like my gaming streams. So like he's dressed up in a suit and a tie right now, but this is gonna be his podcast form. And then the gaming form I'm going to have for him is going to be, he's going to be in a cyberpunk like jacket, and he's going to have like a little futuristic pistol on his side, and he's going to be holding a game controller, and he's basically going to be like just moving the game controller, so like he's like actually playing the game. And then he's going to have a couple like poses, like victory poses and stuff like that when I accomplish certain things in the game, so I can make him a little bit more lively and make him more translatable to being, a gamer, instead of.
Hell yeah.
I was going for the Ace Attorney look originally, with the suit and tie thing, but like it wasn't really gamer,
It's a solid look.
I like the look. It's definitely serviceable. I can definitely use this for the podcast, and that's really kind of where I'm going with it now. But in terms of, because I always had I always liked the retro wave stuff, like my intros, like the whole DeLorean and the cyberpunk city and stuff. But the suit and tie thing just didn't fit into the whole cyberpunk-esque aspect of it. But for the podcast, I think the suit and tie is fine. But I want to get more. I want to actually have a couple different variants, so that way I can have one for like holidays, one for Halloween, one for like Christmas time, Oh,
that'd be sick.
Yeah, I basically want to kind of create him as an actual real character, so that way he has different vibes, he has different, he just evolves with the seasons and stuff like that. So it's a lot of work. It's been a lot of work working with an artist and trying to get the animations down, trying to get the different poses. Like right now, he's just got these 3 poses, but it's working it pretty well. And it's something I just want to keep expanding on. But it's definitely it's cool because it's now an extension of myself. And I didn't want to do like the whole VTuber route, because first of all, I don't want to get involved in any kind of like VTuber communities. I've seen so much drama that I need to stay away from that. I don't know why that community is like so drama driven, and I don't want to find out why. But I kind of like, and then I heard there's also, I also heard there's a stigma with like PNG tubers too. So I'm like afraid to call myself also a PNG tuber. So I don't really know really where I fall in line in terms of like, what my character is. But I kind of just want him to be his own animated character and have his own kind of a life of his own.
Yeah. That's solid.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool,
It is cool.
It's a lot of work though. Like it's been taking up a lot of my time too. So those time management skills I really need to hone them in, so that way I'm kind of really making the best out of my time, because like I still have to do a whole bunch of other stuff. I have to really my OBS itself is so clunky and clogged with a lot of unnecessary stuff. And now that now that I'm also adding YouTube and Kick into the mix, I have to have different overlays. So like I might have to have and different sources too. So like you have different browser sources for like different chats and all that other stuff. So it really is a lot. Is everyone using just vanilla OBS here, or some of you using slobs?
I don't know what.
Yes.
My thing just says OBS Studio.
Yeah, that's vanilla.
I only use OBS. I tried using slobs before, back when it was like in the beta form, and it just like it kept crashing on my PC, and I just couldn't keep up with it.
Same. There was too many, like, it was too troublesome for me to like want to switch over to it completely. So I was just kind of like, I'm just gonna, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, and not only that, but Slobs really is just a forked version of OBS to begin with. They just took, because OBS is open source, so they just took the source code and then threw some stuff behind a paywall because so I'm just like, and then I heard the horror stories with like Slobs like eating up so much CPU, crashing all the time. So I was like, I'll avoid that. And that's another thing. So if you go see, if you ever watch Nutty on YouTube, and he's also got a Twitch channel too, he is amazing in terms of all the stuff that he can teach you in terms of like different tips and tricks. Like I have like my whole entire OBS config, like it basically I run a batch file that zips up my entire OBS config and then backs it up to a Google Drive. So like if my hard drive dies tomorrow, I'll be able to like just grab my whole entire config off of my Google Drive and then be able to be back up and running with all my sources, all my collections, everything, so. And then like the other thing I was saying before, you can actually create separate shortcuts in OBS, because you can run more than one instance of OBS. I'm doing that right now. Like I'm running one instance of OBS to run the virtual camera, and then I'm running another instance to do the stream. So you can actually create shortcuts, and then in those shortcuts, what you can do is you can just load the scenes, the collections of scenes that you need for a particular thing. So like I think for his use cases, he has a shortcut that will like, instead of streaming to like Twitch, he has one like streaming to TikTok, which will it changes the aspect ratios of everything, and it optimizes all of his collections just for streaming to TikTok. So. But there's so many different things he does, and he's taught me so much stuff about OBS and just streaming in general. I do highly recommend his channel if you guys haven't seen it yet. I'll put a link to it in the Discord.
Is it just spelled Nutty NUTTY?
Yeah,
I was gonna ask the same thing.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. If you just type in Nutty and then OBS, I'm sure like every video of his will come up. Yeah, he's really good. Like like I said, I could talk about it forever. He's just got so many different stuff and very useful stuff. And he's using just vanilla OBS. He's not using. He actually kind of shits on Slobs a lot. But it kind of makes sense because I shouldn't say everyone, but a lot of people and a lot of the anecdotal things that I've seen out there is that Slobs can become very, very cumbersome in terms of the way that it's utilized and how it's not necessarily optimized in the most efficient way. So
going back to like the time management stuff, I think like Spotum, like as a community is a lot of like new streamers, and I think it'd be like beneficial if we kind of covered that maybe like next time, where we have like tips, because I'm interested like myself on the thing that you guys were talking about earlier about like the things that you were using, and I think people would tune into that.
Yeah, I agree too. And that's what we created the one channel in the Discord, like the stream workshop, and that was like really supposed to be like a place where we would post things that would like be helpful to people. Like I'm also using something called streamer.bot. I don't know if anyone's heard of that.
Nope.
So streamer.bot is so you know like how it works. It uses WebSockets, it ties into OBS, you can basically
it's awesome.
Yeah, so I don't know if I can do it right now. I don't know if it'll mess up my character, but let me see if it actually works. So let me see if this works. Probably won't. No, because I'm not on the proper scene. But I can basically do a barrel roll with my character. I can have him fly around the screen. You can use, and if you have any kind of coding experience, and even if you don't, there's a lot of code out there already that you can just copy and paste. You can basically customize every single aspect of a source and scene in OBS with Streamer.bot. It's really, really, really powerful. And then there's also like a TTS, and well, there's another thing called Speaker.bot. And if you ever want to utilize a TTS engine in one of your chats, you can make it a channel reward or channel point reward, and then you can basically like for my Twitch stream, it only works with Twitch right now because like Kick's API is not even really out. It probably would work for YouTube. I just never set it up for YouTube yet. But basically, like someone can they can use like 50 channel points on my channel on Twitch, and they can basically say whatever they want, and it will actually do text to speech. Now, that could be a bad thing, right? Because you could have someone go in there and like be toxic or whatever, or use certain words that you may not want people to use. So what's kind of funny and kind of cool at the same time is that you can actually totally have word filters in there that will change a word to something else. So like if someone says like SHIT and they try to put it out over my TTS engine, it will just change the word to poop. So when the TTS starts talking, instead of saying the word shit, it will say poop instead. So you can actually do that with any word that goes through the TTS engine and just change it on the fly. So that way people aren't going there and spamming, any kind of bad stuff. So if they want to say some really bad word, you just change it to an opposite positive word, and then it's decentivizing them from trying to be a jerk in your stream. So yeah, there's a lot of cool things you could do with Streamer.bot and Speaker.bot. What else am I using? I think those are the two primary things that I'm using. So there's also, so I'm running an older version of OBS. I don't know what, are you guys like all like up to date with your versions of OBS? Like, are you like running 28, 29?
No, I'm like, from whatever the update was 6 months ago I refuse 28. To update because I would it erase all your stuff? Because I'm always scared that I have to redo everything.
It shouldn't, but you should be backing up your configs anyway, just in case.
Yeah. I'm such a boomer, dude. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, see, that's another thing. Yeah, so like, I think that would actually be a good tip for some new streamers, like how to back up your OBS configs, because
Roden's been helping me out.
Yeah, Roden actually taught me a lot of stuff too. That's why I actually made the Streamer Workshop channel because of him, because he was useful and helpful, He got me into Streamer.bot, he got me into Speaker.bot, he got me into a lot of different things, Stream Effects. Now, so Stream Effects was a really, really, really good plugin for OBS. It's a free plugin. Obviously, it was created by someone in the community. What wound up happening, something happened with the dev. The dev, basically said, you know what, everything's going behind Patreon, and then took everything off GitHub, and supposedly, the newer version of it doesn't work right, even if you pay for it. And so what I do, I just run an older version of OBS, and a lot of my plugins all run on the older version, and they run perfectly fine. So I have a bunch of plugins that you really can't even use on the newer versions of OBS. And I have all the executables and binaries saved, so that way, if, say, my computer dies for whatever reason tomorrow, they're all backed up, and then I can just reinstall the version of OBS that I'm running, the older version, and all the plugins that are particular to my version. Because as far as I can tell, there's no new features really in the newer versions of OBS, unless I'm wrong. Someone can point me out on that. And there's no major security issues with some of the older versions of OBS, at least not to my knowledge. There's no 0 days that I'm aware of or anything like that. So I don't really see the reason to update to the latest versions of OBS unless there was some kind of extreme benefit to doing so. But in my experience, being bleeding edge with OBS tends to break more things than then it makes your life a little bit more harder than easier. So that's why I'm running an older version of OBS. But everyone can do what they want to do. That's just my style of doing it. I like the version, even like my simulcast, like it's a plugin. Like some people will run separate instances of OBS and stream to 2 different platforms that way. But what I'm doing, I just have a plugin. I only have to run 1 instance of OBS in order to stream to 2 different platforms. But the plugin that I'm running will only work with the older version of OBS. So that's the one thing that you have to keep in mind. But yeah, I do think that we should probably, as a community, definitely try to help people, learn the trade, learn different tips and tricks on how to make their streams better. I feel like some people, I was watching a streamer last night and they were obviously like running a crazy good PC, running slobs. They must have paid for a lot of different, like, I guess when you pay for like certain things in slobs, like you can really like make your streams look really like, I won't say they look great, because I particularly don't like streams that have like a bunch of stuff going on it, like a bunch of overlays and craziness. Yeah. I kind of like streams that are kind of just like the game and the commentary. I do like, if someone chooses to have a webcam or a little character, and it's not super like intrusive over the actual game itself, I'm okay with that. But like when they have the big overlay, right? And then they have the camera, and then they have like 5 different things on the side, and then they have the game like squished into a square into the stream, and it's like there's too much going on for me. I don't really like that style, but
let me let it be known that this man just hated off my stream.
Oh, is that yours? No. I mean, that's just my style. That's just my style.
Everything you just said is what I do on my stream.
Yeah, and another thing too is like, when you do stuff like that, you actually are using a lot more resources. So I think like for people that aren't, I don't know what kind of setup, what kind of PC are you running?
No, my PC is, but I was just talking about like the overlay and stuff, like, because I have it like.
Yeah, I remember your stream has like the overlay. Yeah.
Yeah, like I have all that stuff.
Yeah, but yours is kind of cool. Yours, I never really like noticed as like being particularly annoying. But I was watching one last night of another streamer, and there was just way too much. Like everything was moving. I was like starting to get a little dizzy just watching their stream because there was so much stuff moving and blinking. I felt like maybe I was like gonna have a seizure because they had like a lot of neon flashing. I'm like, it's already enough sensory stimulation for me to watch the game. Maybe it's just a boomer thing on my end. I don't know, but
yeah. I just changed my speedrun timer, and I'm like, I don't know how people are gonna think about it, because it's like I try to make it more thematic, but it is a little colorful and intense. So I'm like,
really, just the time is intense. I got to see that. I don't think that would be too bad.
Right.
Well, because it's like when you're a speedrun, you have all your splits in like a list form, so it takes up not one half of the screen, but I would say like 1/10. Like
and I think that kind of stuff is fine. Like if you're doing speed runs and stuff, that's kind of like what the content is centered around. So I think that's more. I think that's more in line in with what you're doing. It's at the end of the day, it is an artistic way to express yourself, and it's not a wrong way of doing anything at all. Like it's just, I think that for me, I personally prefer like less going on, but like I've liked people that did like the death counters for like Elden Ring and speedrun timers and stuff like that. That stuff is cool because if you're watching that kind of stream and you're into that kind of streamer, that's you're really there to see that type of thing. So that makes a lot more sense to have. So I do agree that kind of stuff makes sense. But when people just have stuff like all over their stream just because, it's like it's a little distracting in terms of my just my opinion. But everyone like do you. I don't
Like I was watching a Fortnite streamer and they had like I know it's about appreciating your community and like people who donate and sub and follow and it's and stuff like that. But they have all those stats on the screen. And I'm like, I'm like, I'm like Yuzakata. Like I
Yes,
would, like, throw
that's
up.
actually
Like,
kind of more of what I was trying to say. Like, the last, the last 10 people that donated biddies, and then people are going crazy because people are fighting to get on there, and then like too many alerts and notifications. It's like
exactly. Like,
it takes you out of it, but maybe I'm just one person, so it's not necessarily just what I care about, but that's just my own personal opinion, and I'm a boomer too, so it's like maybe I'm just out of touch. Who knows? I'm not definitely not saying my opinion's right by any means. So, Bunny, were you trying to say something?
Yeah, and like another problem that mainly small streamers run into, there is some mid-size, but usually the larger streamers pay so that way they don't have to deal with this, is a lot of streamers don't understand color theory and don't understand like this color is not going to look good on all of your games, and that you need to like have a way to like adjust that, or at least like pick colors that are going to like work on a background level. Because I watch streamers where they're like bright red, but yet you're playing a game where it's generally going to be red, or they have black text. Like I've seen this also like on TikToks and other social medias where they have just white text, and white text does not just work on every single photo or every single video you have.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense too. That actually makes a lot of sense.
I've gotten criticism on that too. Like that's why most of my stuff is like black, because I just I don't want to use
color theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been my own biggest critic in terms of like a lot of the stuff that I've done. Like I'm looking like back at like when I first started streaming, like things that I thought were so cool, and I thought I was like, man, this is like really, really cool and edgy looking, and it's like it's neat. And then I look back at it now, I'm like, oh my god, that's so cringe. Like that was horrible.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it myself, and I'm just like, man, this was trash. And I was so proud of it at the time, but sometimes you have to be your own biggest critic.
Yeah, like I'm the same way, especially because I use the cam and I show myself and my cat and stuff, and it's like, back then I'm like, oh my god, what is this?
Oh, but you gotta have the cat. You have to have the cat cam. That's that's a necessity.
Yeah, no. Yeah, they come for me, but stay for the cat. Like 30 minutes of me, I'm just like, where's the cat?
I was super tempted to have like a dog cam, but I winded up not doing it. But I didn't want to exploit my puppy.
And that's another issue with cameras that people don't understand. Some people don't look at their backgrounds and understand what's showing, especially if you're streaming in your bedroom. Make sure your closet is closed, your drawers are neat, like make sure you clean up the space. Don't show certain things.
Or get a green screen. Because that was actually I was helping someone with the stream, and like that was the thing, like the background was just not good, and I'm like we need a green screen.
I had to change my setup because
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I had to change my setup because like I was streaming in my living room, and I just had like a couch behind me, and I had like folded laundry that I was supposed to put away, and I didn't do it, and it was awful. But now that I got my new setup, like
grunge life.
Now that I have a new setup where like I have my window that's covered, I have my cat tower, a little cat thing, and a little canvas with my logo, so that way that's all people see. Like.
Yeah, I've seen it both where people have like just like their whole life behind them, and then I've seen other people that like have like the most perfect fucking rooms. Excuse my language, but like their rooms are so tidy, neat, and they got things like all these like they have like extra like RGB keyboards behind them. Like what the heck? And it's just like their rooms look so amazing. But like for the person I was helping, I was like, no, we have to go green screen because there's just no way you're going to be able to, because the room was too big. It was too much depth behind the person. So with green, and people don't understand with green screen, they think they have to buy like some kind of crazy, $200 Elgato green screen thing. You can literally use any green fabric. You can go and buy like, Nickelodeon green slime sheets and put them on clothespins. Put them on clothespins behind you. As long as you can get the chroma key to match and you have the proper lighting, it will look perfect. No one will ever know like what you're using as a green screen, because that's the point of a green screen. You're not going to see anything behind you, so you don't have to go and spend $200. My dog just snored really loud. I don't know if everyone heard that, but
No, I wish I did.
yeah, she's a pug, so sometimes she just like lets out a big snore. But yeah, so you can, as long as it's a green, that color green, and you can put it behind you, and as long as you have the lighting correct, no one will ever know what you're using, and you don't have to spend $200 on a green screen. So you don't even have you don't even have to spend $40. You can get if you can get the color on Amazon or something like that, you can literally buy it for probably under $20. You can have a whole green screen set up. And like for the person too that I was helping, I didn't get like expensive key lights. I just got I got like 5,000 Kelvin like regular LED bulbs, and I just basically like taped them onto like microphone stands with like a little outlet, and boom, like that was enough to give enough proper lighting to the background, to the green screen, and to the person's face, and it actually looked really, really good. And what's kind of cool is like, since it's green screen, you're taking up less. You don't have to have that rectangular square that takes up some of the actual gameplay. You're basically, it's now just the outline of their body, whatever part of the body and face and shoulders that they're showing, and boom, now you see much more of the game. So if I ever did go with a face cam, I would definitely probably be doing green screen myself, just because I can't be bothered to clean my office.
Oh man.
My office isn't too bad. My dogs actually make it way more messier. Yeah, seriously.
Oh no.
Having a day for just resets very important, because then also you like clean up some of your mental health, declutter areas, you feel like better, like you're resetting, skincare routine, body routine, health routine, all important. I will die on this hill.
I agree with that. I've been doing that.
I'm not the best at it, but I do it.
Yeah, I've been actually, because I work a Monday through Friday thing, so I have my weekends, and yeah, it's like Sundays now. If I do any kind of like, sometimes I have to like mow the lawn and do other stuff, like outside stuff, just because like if I don't have enough time during the week to do it, I'll use my Sunday mornings. But like Sunday afternoons and evenings is like total like reset relaxation time. Take care of myself, make sure like everything's set and prepped for the week. Try to reduce my stress levels, try to like get a little bit of meditation in, trying to like, I've been trying to like get my inner zen under control. And for me, I've actually, because like I was like super stressed for probably a couple of months over the past year, and I was like having heart palpitations. My heart rate was like going well over 100 beats per minute. Now, like since like the past month and a half I've been doing that, I've been feeling so much more calm, less frustrated, less irritable. My heart rate is like in like a great, because I have a smartwatch, so I'm always monitoring it, and like my heart rate's at a much better level now. I guess I wouldn't really know, because I didn't like get a blood test, right? But I feel like my cortisol levels are down, like the stress hormone, and it's just been overall like I think really, really good for me in terms of like both mental health and physical health. So I definitely agree with Bunny on that. And now just getting that time management in there, boom.
Yeah. Right. Like just about to be like, hey, if you want a tip on time management, here you go.
See, like that's the thing. I wasn't even thinking about like time management. Like I've always had like, okay, I've got to, I'm gonna try to take this block of hours and do that. But like actually having like actual time management and actually really kind of like narrowing down and honing into like the certain things you want to do with the sections of your day by hour, even half hour by half hour. Mm-hmm. I've been feeling like I've had a lot more control over like my productivity and just like my ability to get things done and feel good about the things that I'm getting done. So, and at Viva Insights, I love that little praise feature now, because I'm able to like tell people like, oh, you did a good job. Here you go.
Aw.
So
Yeah, it's so great. And like the best part about time management is like time chunking, and that's like where you are allocating that like 1 hour for like content creation. And like the thing is, like your schedule can easily be flexible. But I know for like a lot of people, they're kind of like, I'm gonna do content creation every single day. I'm gonna make a video every single day, and it's like you probably shouldn't do that because that's how you burn out. It's better to like create just a single day where you're just gonna record it all, and then another day where you're gonna edit it all. Because if you try to record and edit the same day,
was that you that posted on the Discord? Was that you that posted that on the Discord? That you should like have a day for content creation and then another day where you're just like not doing anything?
She's been dropping some serious serious bombs in the Discord in terms of like, you know, I think she's gonna need a special like, you know, guru or mentoring role at this point.
Yeah,
because like honestly, it's been helping me, and I'm like, damn, like this is actually really good advice.
It actually works. The problem is you have to figure out what system works for you.
Exactly. That's the thing too. Like obviously it's not a one size fits all. Everyone's going to have a little bit of a different config essentially. You know, because everyone has different jobs, everyone has different schedules, everyone works different days of the week. So obviously, yes, you have to adapt it. But for me, just on the base information that you've been laying down in the Discord, it's been like, okay, this is actually kind of nice. This is kind of good. You know, so yeah, I've been really utilizing it. You need to post that stuff on Twitter too.
I do. I need to do more. I have a whole blog post already written up for it. So
yeah, I just recently turned on notifications for your tweets. That's why every time you're tweeting now, I'm like, oh shoot, she's putting something really good out there. I gotta go see, you know, and I hop onto your Twitter and make sure like you're posting something like that's useful to me. So. Yeah, I think I might have a little bit of a Twitter addiction problem at this point, but you know, that's neither here or there. But I do like supporting people on Twitter, especially people that, you know, I've met, you know, in the creator space and stuff like that, and support them as much as I can. I've actually made a lot of good friends that way. And I think it's good to have like a clique of like people that are positive on Twitter, because it really, really helps offset any kind of drama and craziness that goes on Twitter. Because that's the one bad thing about Twitter, is that sometimes you can can be a wave of negativity out of nowhere. Yeah. And if you have a good support, like a block of support of like from people that you know in the creator space, and especially like because like I'm on Twitter primarily for content creation, for gaming, stuff like that. That's really all I have. That's my bubble that I'm in, you know. So I try to like my orbit. I try to like have that as my orbit and have people like that like on my side, and try to keep positivity. Like when they're down, you know, I try to send you know, good vibes, positivity, stuff like that. And then, you know, when I'm having a bit of a, you know, a downtime, they do the same thing for me, and it's reciprocated. So I think that that's important when you're on Twitter. But Twitter for me has been the most beneficial platform in terms of being able to grow my audience as well. It's only recently that the Discord has blown up, because we were like under 100 members for like a long time.
Congrats on 500. Congrats, man.
We're at 714 members right now.
Yeah, congrats, man.
That's crazy, because like we were like, I think we were like 400 like a month ago, and we've grown like over 300 members in like a matter of weeks. I think we're getting about 100 members a week at this point. So who knows? We'll probably break 1,000 members probably by mid-August, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, that's the other thing too. Like it's becoming like a whole thing, a whole management thing too. So we're really trying to get our staff in line, people making sure that we're moderating things and getting auto mod in there. It's becoming a whole project in of itself. But Discord for the longest time wasn't really a big way to grow an audience for myself, or grow an audience for some of the people in Discord. It was kind of like we were all kind of supporting each other, you know. We were basically all, you know, helping each other out. So like a lot of the people that knew each other on the Discord, they would go visit each other's streams. But now it's like there must have been probably close to 100 people that posted in self promo today alone. So that's you know, that's a whole thing there. And it's hard, you know, when you're trying to be a community to support smaller streamers, to go and visit every streamer that posts posting it.
Yeah.
But I do really try to get into as many streams as I can. It's just
honestly,
right. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I stopped posting in self promo just because like I'd rather be the supporter rather than like have people come see me. You know what I mean? Like so I because I've been a member of the bottom for the longest time, and I want to see like I'm trying to see someone else wow me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I don't.
Yeah, I understand that completely.
So I normally don't post when I'm online. Like I just because I don't want to saturate it, right? Like I want to make sure that people that are on there, they get watched by the people, by each other, help us grow, Like
yeah, it's kind of weird, like because now I'm kind of wondering like is self promo becoming too saturated to the point where there's too many streams being posted in there, and then it's like it's hard for anyone to actually find any real support. But I don't know what the balance would be. It's hard. It's hard to really kind of support, and especially if it grows to thousands of people. Like, how are you gonna really? You're gonna have to try to just support who you can when you can. It's tough, But I found a lot of good people. Go ahead, Bunny. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's fine. And like one thing about it for me, and I know like this is somewhat controversial of opinion. I personally don't really. I personally wouldn't even go to people's streams who don't even chat in the Discord, and I know it's like probably really bad, but it's like if they don't chat at all, I won't even look at them.
Yes, I've been actually feeling that way, and a lot of the like the people that are involved, like some of the admins on the Discord and some of the mods also feel that way. They're like, well, if they're not investing in being part of the community, then we shouldn't reciprocate as much in terms of supporting them, because they're basically just using us for visibility and discoverability, but not putting anything back into the community. So that is kind of an issue. So I do agree with that, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of newbies are either shy or maybe they need an icebreaker. Because
that's actually why I've been doing those questions every day.
That's why I really like it so much, because I feel like it's very engaging, and I have seen when you're posting those things, I have seen a lot of people that I've never really seen chat ever like start to engage and talk, which is amazing, because I don't think I ever could get people to talk like that, like how you've been getting people to talk. So that's been like super valuable, like a major asset right now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I just copy pasted it to several Discords. I'm not gonna lie to you. So if you see Discord,
that's fine.
Same thing.
That's fine. Yeah. It's working in our Discord, so hey, keep doing it. I don't care. It's getting me engaged, so I'm definitely taking the bait. It's I think, and not only that, I think it's actually truly useful information too. Like I've actually been able to actually use that in my own and apply it to my own IRL. So. For me, that's if it's helping me, I'm sure it can help someone else as well. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, I think that when it comes to supporting other streams, if you're gonna take the time to create a Discord account, join a Discord server, post on Twitter every day, your Twitch links and stuff like that, the least you can do is try to be involved at least a smidge, a tiny bit into the community. If you want them to invest in you, you got to invest a little bit in yourself. It's got to be a give or take. It's got to be a little bit of a back and forth. There's got to be some reciprocation. So
yeah, there's this quote from one streamer I really follow and I heavily respect. He says, "Don't just follow through. Like build that community, build the friendship network. Like it's crazy just to pop into a stream and say hi. Like especially the small streamers that average 0 to 5 viewers. Just pop in and say what's up. Like how are you doing? How's your day been? Or like the game looks cool. How long have you been playing? How long have you been streaming? It's so easy to just have that icebreaker and. Instead of just posting a "Hey, come watch me," and have nothing else afterwards. Like,
or provide value for follow.
Provide value first, and then see what you get when afterwards. Like, that's kind of my thing.
I remember when I first started my Twitch channel, and all my first chats were all like, "Followed you, follow me back." It's like, okay.
I did.
That's all they send. They bounce out, and then
Yeah,
you
literally,
find
I
out
was
that they unfollowed you like 4 days later. after
That's
you followed
exactly
them
what I
back.
was gonna say. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like I did that for like a week, and yeah, I got like 20 followers, but then literally within the next
drops.
2 weeks, I lost 10. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and
It's such a
retarded.
scummy thing because I've seen that so
Yeah.
much where it's like you're trying to this whole follow for follow scam, and then they follow you and then they're like, oh, follow me back, and as soon as you follow them back within 2 days they're not following you no more. It's
Yeah,
like, okay,
it's-
so you used me, you got me.
Yeah.
Now I use Wisebot for tracking all my unfollows. That's another thing. You guys using Wisebot at all?
I don't even know what that is.
It's a bot you can add to your Discord. I mean, not your Discord, your Twitch channel.
Can you do that for subs?
I don't know.
Because
I don't get enough
I
subs to
would rather-
track. I think you can. There
Okay.
is an API that tells you who's subbed and who's not. So I'm sure that there is.
Yeah.
There probably is a way to do it.
Yeah, because as I grow, I do kind of want to become a tryhard, but right now I would just rather build a connection. But I do want to learn like stuff like that because I want to know, like when I do giveaways and stuff, I don't want people to just follow me for that. You know what I mean?
That was
Like,
another thing. I don't do giveaways anymore because of that too. Like I did a couple of giveaways and like I saw like a big boost, and then as soon as like people didn't win or anything like that, you'd have like a mass exodus. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do this anymore. Where I'm just like putting all this effort into something, and then a bunch of sore losers just like, oh well, I didn't win, so screw you, and just unfollow you, and or they create multiple accounts. It's just like, I couldn't deal with it. I don't do giveaways no more because of that.
I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
I'm just like curious to see if you guys had this before. Have you guys ever gotten like the cold DMs from people? Like I've only got this in like a few servers, not this one in particular, where like people would DM you and be like, "Hey, how are you?" And then after they'll be like, "Do you want a YouTube administration growth person?" Like they're trying to sell you something.
Oh,
and-
yeah, I've had that.
Yeah.
I've had that twice. Happened twice.
Yeah, I've
Every
had that
single
happen to me a
goddamn
lot.
It's like that. It's freaking annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
kind
I've
of
had
getting
people-
spammed with that.
I've had people try to sell me followers and all types of stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just
How about logos and
pretty much
stuff?
yeah. And then the graphics bots too. That's another thing. I probably have like over 300 DMs that I've never opened because of that. You know. Yeah, it's funny because like when you, I guess maybe this is just my experience. When I first started, like probably the first like 150 followers I got on Twitter were all graphics artists, and I basically my DMs were just being blown up by these. I don't even know if they're bots or people that are scamming you. I'm not sure because some of these people.
I think it's 50-50.
It must be because some of the people I was talking to definitely seemed human, but they either seemed like they weren't native English speakers because their English would be very bad, and it just felt very scammy. And like I even paid one once, not a lot of money. I think it was like $10 or something like that, and they literally gave me like generic clip art. Wasn't anything that I asked for, and I'm like, this is not art that you made. This is so I definitely knew there was some kind of scam going on. But that particular person I don't think was a bot. I think they were just a straight up scammer.
Oh, no.
So yeah, so when I actually started trying to actually find a real artist, I actually seeked out the artist on my own. Like I went to actual like real places to find an artist, and I was able to link up with an artist that I actually love dealing with now. But trying to find and having these graphic spots or these graphic scammers like trying to contact you, like probably 9 times out of 10 you're gonna get complete trash from them in terms of like a product. I mean, that's just my own anecdotal experience when it comes to it, but I don't know. Didn't you want to say something about this, Sugar?
Yeah, I mean, I can go into it like a little bit, just like from like personal experience. I'm a newer streamer, but then I posted on social media because I was like, oh, eventually I'm going to be an affiliate and I'm going to need, emotes. And I didn't like hashtag anything. It was just kind of like a thought that I had, like, oh, I'm going to need emotes soon. So yeah, kind of the same thing. I had a lot of people DMing me, and then because I knew it was going to be a topic for like our podcast, I kind of like read into it a little bit more. So if someone's account on their social media has like GFX in caps, like it's especially at the beginning of their Twitter handle, it's probably a bot.
Okay.
And then also, like, it's like a trend for for people that create these bots to have like like a really cute female like as the profile picture, because people are just drawn to that. But yeah, it's you pretty much like the way that I found like a genuine artist was like having to sift through these accounts, and then they actually had like for years and years they've been posting like their very own art, whereas these bots that I was looking into, like I
Never
would go
really
through,
post
like,
that stuff, right?
they only post reference images from the internet and nothing that they've created on their own.
Right.
So
yeah. Big red flag
those
right
are
there.
just a few things. Yeah, so those are just a few things to look out for. Like, make sure that there's like reviews and shout outs to these people. And yeah, because like if it's like a genuine artist that you find like on social media, like of course, and they do a great job, of course that person is going to like say something like and then accredit them for the art that they created for you.
References.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like I don't like why would you put reference images like under your own profile? It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, it just takes time, but unfortunately I want to say like out of 10 accounts that responded to like my original post, only one of them was like a genuine
Actual person,
account.
actual artist, yeah.
Which is so unfortunate, but yeah, it just takes time, and I'm like really happy I took the time to do it.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm kind of jaded. Well, I was jaded because I thought like I was gonna be able to. I did kind of the same thing. I like put it out there that I was looking for something particular. This is before I had my cicada character, and I had the idea of what I wanted him to be. But when I like I said, like when I had that one artist, they basically like gave me like bug clip art, and I'm like, I'm like, this is not what I asked for. I'm like, what is this? And then I like did reverse image searches, and I saw like this base image was like somewhere else on the internet. So like I knew for a fact that they didn't create this, and it was like when I put that out there on social media, it's like they smelled blood in the water,
right?
And they were like sharks, and so that I completely disconnected from like trying to find an artist on Twitter at that point. And that's when I started really looking elsewhere. I looked on a lot of different websites. I looked on Etsy. I looked like you said, looking for people that were, reputable, had reviews, had people that could vouch for them. And then I could go to other people's streams and see like the art that they're using that was created by this particular artist and stuff like that. I really kind of went through like a crazy vetting process, and I was able to finally find the artist that was able to create my character, and they created it so amazingly that I was just like completely, and not only that, but like, in terms of like dealing with them and how they cared so much about the art, and not so much, they did, even though yes, they wanted to get paid, right, for their work, but they cared more about like what my vision of what I wanted, and they wanted to deliver that product, that art to me the way that I envisioned it, or at least the best that, we could come together and try to bridge that gap. And it came out way better than I ever thought it could, you know? So it came out amazing. And like now, because I'm also really into pixel art, I just recently found a pixel artist that I want to hook up with and work with and create some really, really cool pixel art. And that I was looking for a pixel artist forever. Now, you won't see graphic spots actually advertise any kind of pixel art because pixel art is actually like a really hard thing to create. And it's also an art style that's not very, I would say it's more niche now. Like, not many people are looking for pixel art, but like even like for the Steam Summer Sale, I don't know if you guys saw like the banner that they had. It was a huge pixel art that they got, and the artist was actually on Twitter. Now that artist is like a big pixel artist. They actually make pixel art like big time for a lot of different like companies and whatnot. But I found one that actually made, and I'll send it to you guys in on Discord. I won't name them right now, but they make some really, really amazing pixel art. And I was recently talking to them, and they're going to be able to do some like cool cyberpunk pixel art for me for my character as well. So I'm going to have some little retro pixel art, nostalgia eventually being made for me as well. But yeah, finding a good artist is not an easy process. You're not going to be like, hey guys, I mean, you could just literally say, hey, I need some emotes, and you'll probably find somebody. But if you really want high quality work, you're gonna have to do some work on your end as well, for sure. But yeah, so yeah, that's a whole other thing, man. And I try to warn people, especially new streamers, about that, because I feel like everyone kind of goes through the same stages when they first start streaming, and that whole like artist bot, graphics artist bot thing happens to almost everyone that I've talked to in some way, shape, or form. So it's definitely something that you need to warn people about.
Yeah, I'm going through that right now because I have open emote slots, but I don't want to go through that hassle of trying to find someone to do. I don't want to go through that process again. So I'm just leaving it open until I can.
Yeah, I got a couple of animated emote slots open, and then I just kind of filled them in with like Discord emotes for now.
Yeah,
because I didn't realize, I didn't know like if you don't use them, if you lose them, but evidently that's not the case. Like once they're available to you, they're available. So, but either way, I can always replace them later on. Plus, using some of the commonly used emotes all over the place, Twitch also doesn't take forever to approve them. So
yeah, also that.
Yeah, the first emotes that I ever put on my Twitch, they took like almost 2 months to get approved. That was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you submit emotes for approval on Twitch, Sugar?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because I was gonna say, because I don't know if it was just me, but I heard some other people it took so long. But I mean, my emotes were nothing crazy. I don't know why it took them so long.
They're so controversial. What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm so edgy. So edgy. I needed extra verification. They really needed to monitor my my submissions to make sure that I was playing by the rules there. But yeah, it was weird. But now anything I submit seems to get almost instantaneously approved. So I don't know if it's just because maybe I was a new account. I don't know, maybe if like you have an account for a while. But,
maybe it's just like a timing thing. Like when you went to go submit yours, like a bunch of other people were submitting them. And then maybe like when I was submitting mine, like not a lot of people had turned into like an affiliate or something. You know what I mean? Just like traffic.
Yeah.
I don't know why it would take 2 months though. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know why either, but like I said, now it's like almost instantaneous whenever I submit anything. But I just submitted, like I said, I just submitted like a Pepe emote, and what else did I submit? Pepe emote. And the Rave Frog. I have the Rave Frog in there. But we definitely need to get some more Discord emotes. Because freaking Bunny's got really good ones all over the place. I don't know where you're getting all those. You must be in so many different Discords that have that repertoire of emotes that you have.
I've honestly, I have Discord Nitro because if I lose my Discord Nitro, I have to leave servers because I'm in over 100 servers since they allowed it to be up to 200.
You're so crazy.
It's not a problem. I can stop
Yeah.
if I need to.
100 Discord servers, my
There's worse
god.
addictions, I guess. Yeah, I can't imagine. That's crazy.
I can
Yeah,
stop anytime. I'm fine.
Oh
Yeah,
my
my
gosh.
categories are weird. Like I have like a Kickstarter Discord folder because for all the projects on Kickstarter that I back. My speedrunning folder, like for the different games that I speedrun. The streamer Discord, which is not that many.
But you're
Um,
organizing your folders.
I do, yeah, because I cannot, like, it hurts my soul. I cannot have notifications. Like, yeah, no,
I just put
Gotta
myself
have
on do
those
not disturb and
organizational
hope for the
skills.
best.
yeah. And then I have, like, for the card games I play, like Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, all that stuff, I have separate folders.
Oh, I didn't know you were a TCG kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm going to Indiana to go play One Piece in a couple weeks.
Really? That's cool. Are you gonna stream that, or are you gonna like do anything for like record it and like upload it anywhere?
My best friend is a content creator for TCGs, and he might stream it. So he might
Nice.
play, but he's undecided. He might play or he might stream because they might ask him to commentate. So I don't know.
That's
He's
cool.
undecided, but I'm going with him.
That's another
yeah.
vice of mine. I love TCGs so much, and
Yeah.
I would really love to be doing TCG streams as well. I mean, I'm like, I was suckered into TCGs from the Pokemon trading card game, but
Yep. Same here.
but yeah, you know, I remember when they first came out. I have very, very, very valuable Pokemon cards. And in fact, besides like, you know, like owning a car and some other things, like my Pokemon cards actually might be like some of my most valuable assets. Actually, I have a first edition Charizard that I'm probably going to be getting graded soon, that I've had since '99. I have a lot of the original base set. Yeah, I have a lot of the original base set Pokemon from first editions.
Same.
That
Well,
I
I
kept in crazy good condition.
I have first edition base set Machamp. It's my favorite Pokemon. And
Yeah,
I have that
Machamp
one.
came in
It's
every starter pack. I
Yeah,
have a lot of Machamps.
and it's but it's in bad condition because I didn't have it in the top loader, so it's like curved. So I don't know if I don't think it's worth anything, but it's
yeah,
a lot
and
of
it's
sentimental
probably
value.
that is probably the most common first edition base set Pokemon card that exists, because it was a guaranteed pull in the starter pack. So if you bought like that starter pack that basically you know gave you the starter deck and everything else, you would always get that
he
first
was in
edition
it.
Machamp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably have like 10 of those because I just collected a bunch of those. But I have basically all the starter Pokemon, all the evolutions in holographic form. I have, like I said, I have the first edition Charizard in pristine condition. I've had a couple of people look at it that have had other things graded, and they said it's probably going to pull anywhere between an 8 and a 9. So you know that, and then if that does, it, depending on what grading agency I go with and whatnot, you know, it could be looking at quite a bit of money in terms of how much that thing is worth. It could buy me a BMW, you know, like something like that, like crazy amount of money. But you know, I'm just lucky that even as a kid, because I was super young, you know, I had the foresight to take those cards and be like, they're going to be worth something someday. And everyone told me back then, oh, this is just a fad, especially because it was Pokemon. Pokemon just became crazy in the United States. Everyone was like, oh, Pokemon's a fad, just like everything else. It's the next Tickle Me Elmo. It's the next Beanie Baby. It's going to be nothing in 2 years. And little did they know that Pokemon is now the most valuable franchise on the planet, you know? So, that turned out not to be true, that Pokemon was going to be here today and gone tomorrow. But, yeah, so that's a whole different thing. But as a kid, I actually saved those things, and I put them in like a basic sleeve, and then I would put them all into the tough, like the hard plastic sleeve.
The top loaders, yeah.
Yeah, and I saved them that way for, what is it now? 20 something years at this point, right? Yeah, 99, 2019. Yeah, so like 22 years at this point. So that's
God.
Yeah, they're legit like originals from the 90s. So, and you would typically think like a kid.
Do we have now? Like
That's
over
actually-
900, right? Something like
I think
that.
so. Yeah, I was gonna say like
Yeah.
850, but
Yeah,
And here I am thinking like the original 150 was a lot.
a lot,
Yeah.
right?
I remember like playing, because I had a Game Boy Color and I had Pokemon Blue, and just grinding to get and then trading with someone who had Pokemon Red to get the 150, and then of course if you had the Game Shark or whatever, you can get the 151. You can get that Mew. That was tough. That was not an easy feat. I mean, but then again, hindsight being 2020, I was a little kid, so maybe that was part of it why it seemed like it was so daunting. But now, like you have 3-year-olds like getting 20 bomb kills in Fortnite, so
yeah, my nephew,
I think the
nephew's
landscape's changed.
amazing.
Yeah, I couldn't
My
imagine
nephew's
playing
amazing at
Fortnite
Fortnite.
at 3 years old. I remember my parents thought I was a genius for playing Super Mario Brothers on the NES at 3 years old, and they're like, "Oh my god, that's amazing," and I'm just jumping on Goombas, I'm not like doing 360s, doing snipes, yeah, doing all the crazy stuff that all these crazy strats that these kids are doing in Fortnite. So totally different realm now when it comes to playing video games.
Yep.
Yeah. There are 1,015 Pokemon.
Oh my god,
and
we're over
66
1,000
of them are
now.
legendary. I know,
Wow.
that's crazy.
Over 1,000.
And it's such a shame too, because like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, what a missed opportunity those games were. What a missed opportunity.
Man.
Because it was just so sad, because like they released that in November of 2022, and that game doesn't have voice acting. We don't have voice
I was
acting in a
gonna say-
Pokemon game.
I was going to say, like, Pokemon is it's such a gaslit game. Like, the game is fun. The game is fun, but it's the same game for 25 years, and it just does not make sense.
It's
Like,
so out of gas at this point.
but
But yet people still buy it.
Oh my god! I always argue with people
online at
like,
GameStop at 12 o'clock at night on release day for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and that GameStop, which is a big
Yeah.
GameStop, was packed shoulder to shoulder. I've never seen anything like it. And this is in a
I've
small
argued
town in
for, like-
suburbia. It's not like
I've
I'm in the
argued for
city or
years
something.
that Pokemon is just an actual low quality game. Like, it's just riding on its sales. Like, it's just it just like
I was actually really happy with Arceus. Arceus was a really neat
I was
departure.
gonna say, did you guys
I like
try
Arceus.
that?
I do like Arceus. I do.
It was like
If
finally
Arceus
a
had
breath
voice-
of fresh air for the genre,
If Arceus had voice acting, I would think it's a really good game. Like,
Yeah,
I would love it. Like,
they have to put voice acting into Pokemon in the next mainline game, because if they don't, it's like, what the hell are they doing? They literally have bajillions of dollars. This isn't not like, oh, well, the Switch isn't powerful enough, because the Switch has a shitload of games that have a lot of voice acting in it, basically full-on voice acting and good graphics and everything else, and don't have the frame rate drops and all this other stuff. Pokemon is it's got barely any textures to begin with. It's very, very cartoonish in terms of the graphics, so you're not even like trying to like go like Monster Hunter or anything like crazy with textures and real like complicated graphics. For it to perform that the way that it was, I don't even care if it was open world. Even freaking Breath of the Wild is open world and has, even though it's cell shaded, it still ran way better than what Pokemon Scarlet and Violet ran like. Like, there was no excuse for the game. And then I also heard people saying, well, oh, Game Freak, they're not used to making 3D games. Well, hire developers that can. You have the money. There's no excuse to not hire developers that can develop this type of game. There's no shortage of money to hire voice actors. And then if the one of the gym leaders, right? She was like the TikTok influencer. Do you remember that gym leader well, either way, they released like a trailer or like a teaser, and she had a full-on voice acting thing in this trailer, and it was only in Japanese. I don't think they released it in like an English voice, which is also crazy, but it sounded so good even in Japanese. I'm like, why is this not part of the game? Like, why is this, like, it gave so much more like animation and dynamic to the character than just like reading the really boring dialogue in the game when you're just like reading, you know. And I love reading, like I love RPGs, and I grew up with JRPGs where it was all just text dialogue. But like Pokemon, they need, no pun intended, they need to freaking evolve. They need to like.
So let me interject for a second. We were talking about we were talking about mobile gaming earlier, right? There's this game called Pokemon Masters EX that has trainers with their Pokemon, like Professor Sycamore and Xerneas is a pair, and all of those characters have voice clips, like in Japanese and in English. Like it just doesn't make any sense that Game Freak, the AAA company that's made the same fucking IP for 20 plus years, doesn't have voice acting in their game. It's so
seriously
dumb. Like
it is.
It makes me mad.
It does. I was so like just completely deflated from like the whole launch, and I can't be the only person that was this. Obviously, a lot of people shit on the game. It had a lot of bugs when it was released, which is also completely inexcusable. Like the amount of glitches in the game was just like for the number one. This, you gotta remember, Pokemon's more valuable than Star Wars. In terms of like merchandising, it's the most valuable brand on the planet Earth. If aliens came to Earth tomorrow and had to find out like what do people on this planet care the most about and what do they spend like their, you know, bajoons on, it's freaking Pokemon. So for Pokemon to put out such a half-assed thing with such low, which seems like low effort, because they know it's going to sell, so they know that they can get away with the least amount of cost to develop the game and still have the highest amount of return, it's just shameful to me. And I feel like it may never get better, because at the end of the day, they can still put out a crap product and people are going to buy it, so they have no incentive to change. You know, that's going to be a problem. But I might the next mainline Pokemon game I probably won't buy, to be honest. And I was also super pissed that we got no special edition for Scarlet and Violet either. So like they had the double pack, but there was no steelbook. There was no steelbook for Scarlet and Violet. Like what? Like meanwhile, Europe and Japan got steelbooks. They got steelbooks for each version. They got a steelbook for like both versions. Like they just knew, like they Nintendo and Game Freak cheaped out so much that they knew it was going to sell like crazy that they literally just said, yeah, whatever, we'll just throw two plastic Switch cases into a cardboard box and you're going to buy it and pay full price. We're not going to give you anything special, anything extra. I was like, oh my god. So yeah, I'm probably going to skip out on the next mainline game unless I see that it's going to be like an actual step up from what we've had previously.
Same.
But, you know, on the other hand, Nintendo, I'm super excited to play Pikmin 4. Like, I'm super stoked to play this game. I actually might even just play that game instead of going back to Final Fantasy 16. Because I freaking love Pikmin. First of all, Pikmin is like the first like RTS game that was like optimized for console. And even though it's kind of gimmicky because you got your little like alien plant people and stuff, and you crash land on the planet and stuff, it's really it's such a that game makes you really think. It's really strategic. So, and obviously, is everyone familiar with the Pikmin franchise?
For back in the day, but I didn't play it. Like I was already out of the GameCube era at that point.
It's so funny too, like the GameCube era, right, is looked back so fondly now from a nostalgic point. But if you grew up in the GameCube era, you were literally an outcast. You were considered like a geek. Like you weren't a real gamer. You had a toy instead of a real system. I remember the stigma to owning a GameCube. Oh, you have that purple box. Oh yeah, you can't. There's no. You don't really play good games. You play kids games. So that was the other thing too. Is like, oh, you play kiddie games. And especially if you're like preteen or just going into your teenage years and you didn't have a PS2 and you had a GameCube, oh my god, you were automatically uncool. No one wanted to go to your house after school. You were kind of blacklisted. That was it. Everyone was kind of like, yeah, no, we're going to go over so-and-so's house and play, Gran Turismo or whatever, PS2 game was super pop. Oh, GTA 3. I remember GTA 3 was crazy pop. I mean, obviously, GTA 3 was a groundbreaking game. I mean, you can't really deny that, but you know,
Yeah.
you look at GameCube and you have wholesome games like Pikmin and Super Mario Sunshine, and then you have PS2, GTA, GTA 3, where you're running around stealing cars and killing people. It was a kind of a different dynamic back then. But yeah, GameCube now is, first of all, GameCube collecting, completely insane. GameCube games are super duper expensive. You can get GameCubes for relatively cheap, but trying to actually have a physical GameCube game collection, forget about it. It's not even, unless like you're a super hardcore collector and you have a lot of money, it's not worth it. But yeah, everywhere I look now, when I'm looking at like nostalgia, everyone's like all about GameCube now. But the other good thing is that GameCube has amazing emulation. So if you really want to play GameCube games, you can, and you can play them better than you would be able to play them if you actually bought a GameCube and actually bought the real games. I'm an advocate for emulation. Just gonna put that out there right now. I think emulation's great, but
you can't say that online.
I know. It's especially because Dolphin was going to be released on Steam, and then Nintendo like gave them the ban hammer.
Oh, yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, because Dolphin is the best emulator, probably the best emulator that's existed. Because how good it runs GameCube games and how well it upscales resolution on GameCube games. Like if you play Pikmin, the original GameCube Pikmin on Dolphin on a PC, upscaled, those graphics hold up really friggin' well. Like really well. Like it looks like it could be like a Switch game. It's so good. But Pikmin was a revolutionary game, and people just wrote it off as being like this silly, like kiddish type game, but there's so much depth to it. It's amazing, and I'm super stoked for Pikmin 4. That's a game that's 10 years in the making. That I was going to buy that day one, But of course, I'm hoping that it's only going to be like, I hope it's less than 20 hours so I can beat it quick. So that's the other thing, because my backlog of games right now is super, super big. I have so many games that I have to play that I actually, if I'm looking at them right now, let me actually grab all the games that I have that are not even open. I don't even think this is all of them. Let me see. Okay. Alright, so I got Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp.
That's what I got.
That is not open yet. Diablo 4. That's not open yet.
Gonna play that after this?
Yeah, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, not open yet. Metroid Prime Remastered. I played about 10 hours of that. Fire Emblem Engage, I still have to. I'm only at Chapter 17. I still need to beat that. Triangle Strategy. Didn't even open that yet. And Persona 5 Royal, which I'm probably never going to open because that game is like 300 hours. So, and then Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which is another 200-hour game. And that's just the games that are right next to me that are all sitting next to me that I haven't opened yet. So, yeah.
I digital download. That's where I get on.
I'm a physical collector. Yeah, I understand. Like, I understand. The thing about digital distribution for me is that the problem is going to be going forward. Digital storefronts disappear, or they lose rights to certain things. They have licensing issues. It's a flawed system, but I understand like the convenience of it, and being able to like to not have to go to a store and download a game on day one is super cool. But at the same time, we're eventually going to go past the point where physical media is no longer going to be a thing, and it's going to be sad because there's nothing like borrowing a game from a friend, or basically handing a game down to your kids or your nephews or your nieces or whatever. I actually regret giving my nieces and my nephew all my systems because they wind up destroying them, but at the same time, like it is like that physical media is to me it's such a powerful thing, And the Switch, and that's one of the reasons why I love the Switch so much, is that because it's probably going to be the last system where there's going to be an actual large physical media library for it. And I've lost all my physical media from the NES days all the way up into. Hold on one second.
I don't keep any of that stuff. Like, I'm not a collector. I used to, but every place I've lived in, I've had like limited space, so I just freaking just download everything. It's just so convenient. Like,
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I like the digital space. But like one of the downsides, especially like it's already happening, in the streaming industry with like movies and stuff.
Yep.
Sorry,
I got really mad when Avatar, the Avatar movie was pulled off of Disney Plus because they were doing that re-release, getting the hype back and stuff, and it just like it reminds me that like I don't actually own a copy, and that any of these services can actually just remove it, and that's what bothers me.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Same. I have the same sentiment towards it. It's I feel like it's a level of control and ownership is being taken away from us, and we're simply giving that away for a mere semblance of convenience and instant gratification. And I feel like we will come to regret it eventually. But right now it's captivated us, and everyone's subscribed to all these instant streaming services, and it's a duality, but eventually I think I see the writing on the wall. I know that, like, hey man, I still need to have physical copies of it, or I still need to have a digital download actually own it. I can move it to different devices. Like I've ripped movies and I've made them all digital, and I've kept them on like a NAS drive, and I can stream them to any device. I can move them to any device. I can set them up on a Plex server, all types of stuff, because I don't want to have to be at the whim at the whim of Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever, because they can just decide tomorrow, like, oh yeah, you were able to watch that yesterday, but you can't today. That's crazy to me. Yeah, and like another part to it is like one reason why I'm having issues like playing on my Xbox. I liked it when like old school Xbox, like all these old school games where I didn't have to be on the internet every single time I want to play a game, even if I'm wanting to play it offline.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, that was actually, it was kind of interesting. Like Diablo 4, like you always have to have an internet connection, right, to play this game. But like I remember when SimCity 5 came out, I think it was SimCity 5, and it was like, this came out 2015, I think. And the biggest gripe that everyone had was that you had to have a constant internet connection in order to play the game. And that game like died because of that. Like, because PC gamers back then were like, no, like I want to be able to play this game offline. If I don't have an internet connection, I want to be able to play it and not have to always have an internet connection. Also, that was when they started implementing metered connections, where like ISPs would not let you have unlimited data, which is insane to me. Like how an ISP can say like, oh, you can only have 300 gigabytes of data allocation for both upload and download, which is a whole different thing. But yeah, I mean, you shouldn't have to always have an internet connection to be able to play a game. So that game died because of that. And then what is the well, actually I love city simulator games. City Skylines, that's it. That game came out, right? And you could just get it on Steam, had a huge modding community, didn't need to be online to play it, and that game completely took over the entire city simulation sphere. And EA and SimCity is now a relic of the past because of that. Who knows what's going to happen with Diablo? Diablo 4, I heard, had a great launch, and then all of a sudden now, recently, supposedly, it's like getting review bombed because of some kind of update that they issued. I don't really know too much about it. I heard some rumblings about it on Twitter, but as far as I know,
are you talking about like the rumor mill that it was like when you start your season 1, it would delete the character that you made before it started?
That too. But that was like when the game like kind of first came out, and that was like the big break. But now I'm here. I don't know. I heard that there was another patch, and the game went from like being highly rated on like Metacritic, and then I saw like, I don't know if the screenshot was true because I didn't verify it, but like Metacritic, like it was down to like 33. like in terms of like I guess user score reviews. So I don't know what happened. Some people said, oh, it was getting review bombed because the Microsoft deal went through with Activision, and then other people were saying, oh no, it was because they issued some kind of patch. And then I saw some videos of like the game just glitching out like crazy. So I don't really know exactly. I haven't played it yet, so I don't really know what's true and what's not. So
I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find out when I play it later.
Yeah, definitely report back to us on that, because I don't know exactly what was going on, but I do know that the people are really complaining about some kind of patch, and then like the reviews on Metacritic just tanking. So, but yeah, I do think that like games should if you buy a game, whether it's from a digital distribution service or not, you should be able to play that offline. You should have some type of ownership of it. You should be able to separate it from a launcher, but you know, we're moving away from owning stuff and kind of having it in a digital walled garden where, you know, if it could be taken away at any whim. So it's sad. It's a sad end of an era, I think, and that's why I really like the Switch so much, and I'm such a sucker for it. But every single game, I think only games that I bought digital was Stardew Valley on Switch, because I only bought it digitally because there was no physical copy of it. And I bought a game called Eastward. And I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's an indie game that came out in 2021. And
No.
what the heck is the? Oh, so you guys know like what is it? Last of Us. I think it's. I'm trying to think of like where there's like a father-daughter dynamic, but like they're not really father-daughter.
Yeah, I think that is Last of Us.
Yeah, I think it's Last of Us. But this game it kind of has that. So like, there's a guy named John, and then there's this girl, and she kind of like comes from nowhere. She comes like from like a test tube, and John winds up kind of like, they both kind of like adopt each other, and they kind of have like this dad-daughter relationship dynamic going on. And it's like, have you ever heard of Mother or Earthbound? It's a JRPG, Nintendo JRPG.
I've heard of Earthbound.
Yeah, Earthbound. It's called Earthbound in the US, and it's called Mother in Japan. So it's a combination of that, and it's also a combination of Zelda. So like it's action fighting based, so it's not turn based, and you have weapons, and you have like your health is hearts, kind of like Zelda, and you go through this whole game, and it's a really, really good indie game. I highly recommend it. But the thing was, when it was released in the United States, it was only released digital only, so I did buy it digitally. But once again, I was able to find that in Asia, in Japan, and I think Taiwan, it was released on a physical. And it was not only released physically, but they actually released it in a special edition that came with the soundtrack. It came with a little figurine of the girl, and I was able to get that from Amazon Japan. And so I bought it twice because, you know, I had to have the physical copy as well, because I'm just a sucker for it. And I buy all the collector's editions of all the physical stuff as well, so that's just how I am. But if this is the last generation that it is, you know, then that's just the way it is. But like the PS5, like I have a PS5, right? It has a 1 terabyte disc in it, or 1 terabyte storage, and you can only really install like 2 to 3 games on it. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
If you have like Fortnite, Apex Legends, and like one other game, you're lucky. I think I had to delete everything except for Fortnite just to get Final Fantasy 16 installed. Which is crazy. Every game's like 300, 400 gigabytes. Like, what the heck's up with that?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't understand how these games are. And even I think I was watching like Moist Critical. He was saying something like, "Why are these games so huge?" Like, it doesn't make any sense that these games are like astronomically big for no reason. There's no way that it's all textures and everything else that are making these game download sizes. As it must be just like poorly optimized, poorly programmed games. I don't know, but you know, it to me, I don't know if it's also forcing the physical media to kind of go away, because how is anything besides selling every game on a hard drive gonna ever be able to survive? You know, you're even like a Blu-ray disc. I don't know what the capacity. Does anyone know what the capacity of a Blu-ray is?
No.
I think it's like 100 gigs. I think. And I think if you have a double-sided one, you can probably get up to like 200 gigs. But even that, I mean, that's still not enough, you know? So they wouldn't even be able to put the whole game on the disc. It's crazy. And yeah, you can upgrade the hard drive in a PS5, but like, you know how much a 4 terabyte drive goes for? You're talking about spending another $200-$300. And for a PS5, you have to buy an NVMe drive that has a heatsink on it. So that makes it even more money. So that's another problem. But at the same time, consoles are really a really good deal if you want to play games at high resolutions and high frame rates. And I've also noticed very, very much so that, like there was the whole PC Master Race meme. Like people that played PC games, they would be like, oh, the games are always better on PC because you can control the settings, you can have better graphics cards. But I'm starting to realize and starting to notice that games that come out on PC now are actually running worse than they are on console, even if you have really good specs.
Oh, just most of them are, yeah.
You know, like I've been seeing a lot of games like just running really bad on PC, whereas their console equivalent run way better. Like even Fortnite, for example, I have a 3070. And I have to run Fortnite after they went to Unreal Engine 5. I have to run Fortnite in like performance mode now because it just doesn't run as well. But then like if I'm running it on a PS5 or an Xbox, the game looks so beautiful. The game's running. It's like super optimized to run on console, where it's not optimized to run on PC, I think, anymore. So, and I've noticed that with other games too. So I'm starting to wonder if consoles are kind of making a bigger comeback in terms of how like the games are being more programmed and more optimized for console than they are for PC, or PCs are just not, they're just, I don't know why the games are running worse, but I've seen articles too where people are like, yeah, games are running worse on PC now, worse than they ever have before. So who knows what the real reasoning is behind that. All right, guys. You guys have anything else? We've been going on for 2 hours and 17 minutes. I think we did a pretty big block of stuff.
So yeah, I'm getting so hungry though. So I think I need to leave.
Yeah, I think unless anyone else has anything crazy, I think we could wind it down. I didn't expect it to go this long. I honestly, we had way more to talk about. See, this is what I was saying last time.
Yeah, see,
like you think you don't have enough to talk about, and then you wind up talking.
Yeah, literally.
Much.
I was like, thing, literally before the podcast, I was like, man, I'm just gonna sit here and I won't have anything to say.
Man, you were great, bro. You were great. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm happy I came. I hope I'm invited to the next one. And
you're definitely always invited, man. Absolutely
not.
Oh, damn it.
No way. And that's the thing,
thank you for the last minute invite.
Yeah, I'm so glad you guys came too. Thank you so much for hanging out for the whole time. That was really awesome of you guys. And you guys, the invite's obviously extended to you guys as well. Yeah, so thank you all for hanging out. I really appreciate everybody, and everyone I think had really great insight, and everyone had a lot of good contributions. And I honestly did not expect us to go 2.5 hours, but here we are, and I think it went really well. So episode 2, yay, let's go!
Baby.
Topics on the list to be stretched to 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
so.
Everybody that's, I'm gonna keep you guys all in the writing room DM, and we can throw the next one. We're gonna aim for another 2 weeks from today, either a Friday or a Saturday, depending on everyone's schedules. And yeah, let's get back into it. And maybe next time I'll have more stuff set up, overlay. We'll have a private Discord call, so that way everyone has
my camera. Hopefully it works.
Yeah, if someone wants to go, it is what it is. So but yeah, everybody, thank you so much, and I really appreciate everyone and all your contributions to the podcast. It's been a very, very, very cool 2 hours with you guys. And
you're doing like such a great job as a host. I feel like you're
Yeah.
more comfortable in your skin this round too. So
Yeah,
Good
I
job.
feel so too. It definitely, and for you guys to just hop in this and not really know what to expect either, I kind of feel like we're all kind of taking that big leap together and figuring it all out as we go along, and it's been working really well. I think that we're going to kind of find our groove as we do more and more podcasts, and
Yeah, definitely.
I think and I definitely had to make it work for Sufa because he took off of work. I was like, even though I had 2 other people drop out, I'm like, I cannot fail Sufa. I have to get him. I have to make a real good podcast for him.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but yeah, I did take off work to be part of the podcast.
Yeah, that's why I was like, and you were like, oh no, it's okay if we reschedule. I'm like, we're not
Yeah, I
freaking
was like,
rescheduling. We're not
I was
rescheduling.
like, I'm willing to adjust if we need to. Like I said, the podcast is bigger than just one person, so I'm never going to be the one to.
And Bunny and Eclipse, thank you so much for coming in last second and adding your
you
contributions
guys are
and
clutch.
adding to the conversation. Yeah, it came in clutch. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate everybody. All right, I think we can wrap it up. I'm sure Sugar's hungry. I'm hungry. Everyone else, enjoy the rest of your Friday evening. Everyone that's listening on the various platforms, thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll catch you guys on the next podcast. So, all right, guys.
nice to meet everybody.
All right, GG's.
GG's. Have a good one, guys.
All right,
Bye.
take care, everyone. Good night. Bye-bye.